Okay, so this is the best tactic I think I've ever made in FM. So, as you can see here, it is a 4-1-3-2, but it is fairly different to a lot of 4-1-3-2s I've seen before. A lot of the time, they look something like this. Not exactly like this, maybe you have wing-back, but the general gist is, instead of having 3 attacking mids, you have 3 central mids. But, from my, playing and testing around with this is just better. And I've got almost 2 case studies to show you how good this is. Number 1 is just this offline save with Braintree. Where we look at the season preview, we are by far the worst team in this league. So if I go through and look at what my team's good at, it's nothing. But this team, which is by far the worst in the league, if we come to the league table, we got 5th. And if we come to the data hub and look at the XG table, we should have got 3rd. This is my top scorer this season. He's really bad. If we come to his reports, he's not even good enough for the Vanarama South, which is where I'm playing. But you probably want proof this works on a bigger scale against better players. And that's what I got last night. Last night I played in Sai Maggio's Sunday Night Draft, and I actually won it using this tactic. And if you look at the stats from some of these games, I absolutely dominated them. It's also worth pointing out, the last few times I've been in this Sunday Night Draft, I have gone out in the group stage or the first knockout round pretty much every time. I've not been doing well at all in this. So I think it just shows the power of this tactic I've made. Now, to kind of show you how it works before we get into a playtest game, this is almost where everyone operates, at least when you have the ball. So you have these 3, let's say they push up to the halfway line, obviously. And then you have this guy sat slightly in front. And then you can have, at times, the wing backs, because they're inverted wing backs on attack. Sometimes they will be a bit out wide, but a lot of the time you can have everyone in line with this 18-yard box. But typically your widest players are these inverted wing backs who will pick up the ball normally around here, let's say, and cut inside. And what they're really good at is cutting inside and playing a through ball, and they find the defense really flat-footed. That's a way you can score goals, as well as that the over-the-top ball to these 2 strikers who are always just on the last man. And as well as all of that, because you're just overloading the middle with so many players, a lot of the time these attacking mids from the edge of the area just inside the box can get a bit of space and get a shot off. And the reason this works defensively to an okay level is because you've packed the middle so much that when you turn over possession, you normally just force the opposition to go long, and it's cleared up by your centre-backs. Because if we look here, we have press much more often, prevent short distribution, and that really works. So you, because they're so far forward and so central, they will block, the defenders from going short. They always go long. Well, a lot of the time they go long. Obviously, not every time, because you do still concede a fair amount of chances. But a lot of the time, they're forced to just go long, and then your centre-backs can just recycle possession. Honestly, it's a brilliant tactic, and I'm really happy with it. But with all that said, I'm going to show you just my first playoff game. So this is against a fairly good team, Hampton and Richard. They got 6th in the league, we got 5th, so we're about the same. Also, just before I show you this tactic in a match, this many people aren't subscribed to me, so if you enjoy the videos, you want to see rebuilds and tactics videos, be sure to subscribe. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the video. Anyway, we've got a highlight here, and our centre back's just progressing the ball up, and we're just playing it around nicely. And if you look here, okay, so we got our left back here, but outside of that, everyone is just grouped together, and normally what happens is it's played into a player here, and either someone runs past them, or there's just someone next to them in space. It's overloads every time. Look, now this is the left back, and look, when the left back was running to pick up that ball, everyone, as I mentioned earlier, was in line with this 18-yard box. There was no width. But anyway, we're creating now, and it's headed away, but obviously it's headed away, and our DM just sweeps up. This is what I'm saying. A lot of the time, they'll just clear it away to a centre-back or the DM, and you just clear that up. But now our right-back gets across. Oh, and it's a really good chance for our striker. Also, something else I didn't mention. I didn't really go through the tactics. Essentially, it's just a really high-pressing, fairly high-tempo system, and it has worked the ball into the box, which I think is really good for this kind of tactic. Because with the overload you make, you should always be able to work it into the box and make a good chance. And telling your players to do that is often very beneficial. Now look, again, we're just creating this overload. Ooh, and as I mentioned earlier, that attacking mid getting a bit of space on the edge of the box and firing one over. Okay, now a set piece, played in short, and oh my god, we've only gone and scored. Obviously, I'm not an extended, so I didn't see how we won this free kick, but I imagine we just had an overload, and someone's just kicked one of our players. Okay, now we may see us defending. Yeah, just a long ball nodded down. And if they do win that long ball, what is going on there? It's a penalty. I can't tell you what happened there. But yeah, obviously that was just like a free kick like on the halfway line, so that's a bit different. But if they do go long, and especially if they have two up top, and they win like a knockdown and it's successful, then that can be an issue. But I think with the shape I'm playing and how many players you have forward, obviously at points you're going to be exposed defensively. But with that said, if we look here, we've only conceded 3 shots, an XG of 1, but one of them was a penalty. So really, if you look at the XG here, this is like, what, 0.2 maybe, if that. Now we have them just kind of trying to build up play. And as you can see here, all the attacking mids, we picked up the ball here, but all the attacking mids do drop back and help defensively. So even though you've got 3 attacking mids behind the striker, they don't all just stay up like up here without the ball. It's just like how if you have a winger not an attack, they will come back and they'll double up and they'll track the fullback. Yeah, but we're creating now. We go long, and can we force them to go long? Yeah, again, look at that. If we just rewind this, if you look at it, so we have the ball, and we give it up really lazily, trying to go in behind, but we just cover every short option and make them go long, which is kind of, that's how this tactic works defensively. It is just, you get your press right and you force them to go long, and that's offside. Okay, so another highlight here. Obviously, we do try and prevent short distribution, but I can't know whether their manager's gone, okay, knock it long every time. Because a lot of teams, especially at this level, do. But nearly instantly off the transition, they go long, and we instantly create a good chance. Now, it looks like we've drawn this in normal time. Obviously, it's a playoff game. We're going to extra time. But if you look at the XG here, outside of the penalty, they've really had nothing. Now, they are playing it around really nice here. And as I've mentioned a few times now, it's not like a perfect defensive tactic, as you can probably see there. But I think that is the first chance outside of the penalty I've seen them create. I think you can see here, we're near the end of extra time. My players who haven't been subbed off are just dead. I want to see, actually, one of these dead players. Let's look at their okay, natural fitness is quite good. But stamina of 8. Yeah, I don't think, maybe. Oh, last minute highlight. Swing it in. Wins the header. And oh my god, we're going to penalties. I've just sped this up because I know you're not here to see me win a penalty shootout, which I'm going to do. So we're just going to speed through this.
6.5 hours later.
Oh my god, it's keepers. Oh, and the keeper stops the keeper. Did they, how early did they had their keeper at 10th, and we've won it. Yes. More importantly, if we look at the XG table here, outside of this penalty chance they created, they didn't really create any big chances. And also, if we look over here, they had half the shots of us. They had less XG with a penalty. We dominated possession. It's like we were just the better team by quite a bit in this game. Anyway, that is the best tactic I've made in this FM. Thank you for watching.